My name is Lou Capelli. I'm the Director of the Camden County Board of Commissioners. You'll be hearing today from Woodlynne Public Safety Director Edwin Ramos, and also our Camden County Metro Police Chief Gabe Rodriguez, after I make a few remarks. We're also joined by other members of Metro, 2 members of council from here in Woodlynne. And so we're here today to make an announcement. And just by way of history, what's really interesting is about 15 years ago, when Woodlynne was having some problems staffing their police department, and there were some different issues with the shared service agreement, our current congressman, Donald Norcross, who was then a state legislator, came to me and said, boy, wouldn't it be good if there was a county alternative for policing for a town like Woodlynne that was having trouble recruiting officers and maintaining a police department? Well, that was about 15 years ago, and here we are today. Because after that discussion, we had a bigger discussion concerning the creation of a county police department. Ultimately, Governor Christie, State Senate President Sweeney were on board, and we made it happen. And the Metro Department was formed. The only municipality that has decided to become a part of our police department is Camden, but today, well, next week actually, Woodlynne will be joining. And what has happened here in Woodlynne is that despite the best efforts of the governing body, despite the best efforts of the administration, there simply is not enough manpower to maintain a police department in this small community, which is 0.8 miles and about 3,000 residents. And the Camden County Prosecutor's Office has been involved with this police department over the past several months. They have come to a conclusion. The New Jersey Police Chiefs Association has come to a conclusion, and the Camden County Police Chiefs Association supports the conclusion that a police department in Woodlynne is no longer sustainable. There are currently 3 full-time officers. There are like 3 SLEOs. The 3 officers have applied for employment elsewhere, and what we have here is really, what we have is a police department that is basically going to disappear over the next 60 days. There will not be members of the police department. You're going to be hearing from the Public Safety Director, Ed Ramos, who's worked closely with the prosecutor's office and with the police here to try to maintain this department. And he'll describe in more detail exactly what the circumstances are. But over the past couple of weeks, we've had meetings with members of the governing body, the administration here in Woodlynne. We've had meetings also with the Camden County Prosecutor's Office, with Metro, and together we've come up with a plan to solve this crisis, which will be Metro Division becoming the policing agency for the borough of Woodlynne. And the way that will happen is that both governing bodies have meetings next week. Both governing bodies will be approving a shared service agreement, a short-term shared service agreement that will be from 30 to 60 days. And during that 30 to 60 days, we will gather enough information, perform due diligence to come up with a specific policing plan for Woodlynne. Ultimately, within that time frame, the Woodlynne Police Department will be dissolved, and the borough of Woodlynne will enter into a contract with the County of Camden to provide police services. Same thing we did in Camden. And what's great about this is that the residents will be the winners. The residents who right now really do not have adequate police protection, haven't for some time, will get the benefit of having a police department that has been nationally recognized for its method of policing. Community policing will be coming to Woodlynne. All the services and things that we are doing in the city of Camden are going to happen right here in Woodlynne. That includes Eye in the Sky, Spot Shot, community events, police officers walking through neighborhoods, police officers biking through neighborhoods. Eventually, the borough of Woodlynne will have all the benefits that the residents of Camden have seen over the last 10 years. And as you all know, crime has dropped substantially in the city of Camden since we formed the Metro Police Department. We expect the same result here in Camden, or here in Woodlynne. I have no doubt in my mind that crime will be reduced in Woodlynne as soon as Metro takes over and begins employing their community policing model. So I'm excited for the residents. The residents of Woodlynne deserve to have the very best policing. They are going to have the very best policing. And I'm just happy that the two governing bodies, the Borough of Woodlynne Council and the Camden County Board of Commissioners, have worked so closely to make this happen. I also want to thank the Camden County Prosecutor, Grace McCauley, and her staff, who've been very instrumental in making sure the residents of Woodlynne are safe and will be safe as we move forward. With that, I just want to introduce our Woodlynne Public Safety Director, Edwin Ramos, who can talk about the current situation and why the borough has decided to go in this direction. Director.
Good morning, everybody. First, I want to thank the Board of Commissioners, the local Woodlynne government, the county freeholders government, and also the Camden County Police Department. By me working in Woodlynne, I knew this day had to come, because the most important thing is safety for the public, for the visiting Woodlynne, and for the police officers. The guys did a great effort. I'm proud of the guys. Regardless of how low we got, we had one of the lowest crime rates in the county. But to keep that, we have to now get police department 2000. Our police department is still back in the 90s. By the help from Camden County Police Department, we'll be able to, like Mr. Capelli said, modernize a lot of our equipment and supply manpower. This is a win-win situation for Woodlynne and also the residents of the county, because if crime starts off in Woodlynne, it affects the next town. So it got to a point where we have a guy retiring, at 28 years, our sergeant. We have one guy on family leave, and on myself, I'm leaving on August 15th. That definitely killed our manpower. When the prosecutor's office asked me to come with an operational plan, I really sat there for 3 days and looked at it, and there was no option. The option was to have the county help us, have the prosecutors help us, because at the end of the day, our elected officials are responsible for our citizens. In my professional opinion, of 28 years being a police officer, 10 years signed to the FBI, I had to give my honest opinion. And we needed this to happen, and I want to thank everybody for helping us. And this was something that we had to do for the safety of the public, visitors, and our police officers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director, and thank you for your service over the years in Woodlynne. And just a very honest assessment from a professional who's been working in this municipality for several years. So I think the Director's opinion goes a long way and has gone a long way with us, and that's why we're moving in this direction. I do want to thank the pastor for hosting us here today. He's still here? He's in the back somewhere. So thank all the clergy who are here today and supporting us. We will be having at some point in the future, the date has not yet been set, a community meeting for residents to meet our police department, hear what the services will be as we move forward. And so that date's not yet been scheduled, but we will be we'll have as much communication and be as transparent as possible with the public and the residents of Woodlynne as we move forward. Chief Rodriguez has been a tremendous leader for our Metro Division. He understands what public safety means to residents. He understands the importance of community policing and the connection between the residents of the municipality and its police department. And that's something he's really going to focus on here in Woodlynne as we move forward. So Chief Rodriguez, will you say a few words?
Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I want to first thank Commissioner Director for his leadership. It takes a lot of guts to be as committed as he is to public safety, not only in Camden City and Woodlynne, but throughout the county of Camden. He's been a phenomenal leader and a great support to our agency, and I thank you. To our county council, to our county administration, Administrator Holly Cass, we've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure this is going to be a smooth transition. I just want to send a clear message to the residents of Woodlynne. The current situation is scary. I've been briefed on a couple of occasions. I've been working with the council members of Woodlynne, the director here as well, to look at things from the inside out. And they're nowhere near the standards they need to be. So those standards on day one, when we take over, will increase tenfold and only get better from there. We will, as the Commissioner Director shared, be bringing the same services we provide to our Kansas City residents here without any impact, and I want to repeat, without any impact to our current mission in Kansas City. We will not compromise our mission there. We continue to provide the same service to our Kansas City residents, and the priorities won't change. We're going to be supplementing patrols, hiring new officers, and rolling out some new initiatives in Woodlynne. I'm sure I talked to some of the pastors. We're all excited to get together, clergy members in the community, listen to them, and find out what their needs are so we can meet those goals. That's all I have. Thank you.
There's no more important function of a government than to provide public safety for its residents. The governing body here in Woodlynne and its team has done its very best over the past several years to do so. The difficulty in hiring police officers is not unique to Woodlynne. Many small towns and larger towns are having that same problem. But I commend them for putting public safety first as we move forward and respecting the needs of the residents that they govern. So with that, we'll open the floor up for any questions.
Mr. Director, this is a change because when the county force was even thought about, none of the municipalities want anything to do with it. I'm just being honest.
Mm-hmm.
How is this a change from now? And have you gotten any other entreaties from other municipalities that may be in the same situation as Woodlynne?
No, at this point we haven't. Some municipalities have reached out to us for some very specific services, but I think the last serious consideration was Pennsauken many years ago, and when a vote got to the governing body, it didn't happen. But we went down that path. But right now, I think what you're also seeing in some municipalities, take Audubon Park, right? So Audubon Park decided not to join Metro. Instead, they're now in a shared service agreement with Haddon Township. So the regionalization is happening at different levels and in different ways. One of the things, when we designed this whole Camden County Police Department, and we did a countywide design, it was really based on a county in Delaware. I think it's Newcastle County, Delaware. And we had different regions set up within the county, but in that original design, Woodlynne and Camden were together. So it's something that was contemplated from the very beginning.
The chief described the current situation as scary. Was it scary before Mr. Ramos came forward, or was this really not on the county's radar about this?
It's been on the county's radar, and frankly, our Metro have been providing backup for Woodlynne when needed. So, we've been here to a large extent, helping the Woodlynne Department, supplementing what they do. And that's what we're going to continue to do as we phase into this. But, and also the Camden County Prosecutor's Office is on it, making us aware of it as well. So we've been aware of it. We've made sure that Woodlynne has had the resources over the past several months. But it's at a point now where it's just not sustainable to move forward as a police department here.
Do you have to elaborate on what you were saying? Was this scary or concerning aspects of it?
Yeah, policing is not just putting a patrol car out in the street. However, that part is scary as well because the officers that are out there trying to do their jobs day in and day out have not had adequate backup or supervision. They're working countless hours and are also experiencing burnout, which can affect their abilities to do the job. So officer safety is one part of the scary. Administratively, some of the record keeping, which affects cases when they go to court, so they're releasing people free because of some of that. There are other aspects administratively that I'm just now getting my eyes on that I cannot believe. Some of the evidence keeping, the entire system is broken, and it is like policing back in the 70s at this point. And we're just going to try to help elevate that, and we will on day one.
To kind of bounce off of that, do you think maybe it should have been done much sooner
Yeah, I think the prosecutor's office did a great job assisting. They've been assisting with all of the investigations, all of their internal affairs investigations, but they're limited to their capabilities. They're just handling investigations. If I was aware of how bad things are today, I would certainly have recommended this a lot sooner.
There have been several lawsuits against Woodlynne involving police misconduct. Did those play a factor in the design of the police department?
I wouldn't say they're a specific factor, but certainly when you look at those lawsuits, one can ascertain that perhaps there was a lack of training and experience necessary to run a police department in Woodlynne.
And then for funding, because Camden County is absorbing another municipality, does the county get more funding? Does that come from Woodlynne? How does that work?
Yes, and ultimately there will be a contract between Woodlynne and Camden County, and there will be a number paid to Camden County on a yearly basis. We do not know what that number is yet because we're really just beginning to perform our due diligence, but ultimately Woodlynne will contribute financially to this department.
And will there still be a physical police building in Woodlynne for residents?
You know, we're looking at that right now. I think the chief got his first look at the Woodlynne Police Department yesterday. I was fully aware of it because I actually used to prosecute here. That one will not be it. We will need a new location because in the police department and the borough town hall right now, when you go down to the police department, you lose all contact with the world. You can't even use your cell phone down there. So we are going to be, one of our priorities will be finding a location in Woodlynne to have a substation or station.
With the goal, obviously this is just now happening, is the goal to eventually get out to the point where Woodlynne has its own police department, or is the goal to make this situation?
Our goal is to make this situation work. We see this as a permanent solution moving forward, and that it makes a lot of sense because Woodlynne simply doesn't have the resources to provide the level of policing that we do. So I think once Woodlynne's residents see what we're able to do, and at some point the police department will be holding activities in this room most likely with youth and with residents. We could have movie nights, we could have basketball nights like we do in Camden, arts and crafts nights. So I think once the residents get a feel for what we're doing, I think it's something that they will want to keep.
And what happens with the current few Woodlynne police officers? What happens with them?
All of them have made application to the Metro Department. Woodlynne also has 3 officers right now in a police academy, and we're hoping that when they graduate, they come work for us, and we probably assign them to Woodlynne.
Mr. Director, you mentioned that Woodlynne has one of the lowest crime rates in the county. What is that crime rate?
No, I didn't mention that. Someone else may have.
Oh, I'm sorry.
One thing folks that tell about Woodlynne is, we don't have 50 shootings. We haven't had a homicide in almost 20 years. We've had one ugly shootout and nobody was hit this year. In the past, what the lawsuits that you're talking about, that was another administration. When I took over, the covers were bare. I didn't find any training, we made our best effort to do that. But without manpower, you can't. So I've worked with a lot of these guys in the past, and I know how they are. They're very hard workers. And I work with the guys, young men who work now. So I knew it's a perfect fit. It's no longer Mayberry Police Department, it's a small new NYPD. Motorcycles, horses, bikes. It's a police department's dream. It's a dream that we're willing to have.
Also,
I have a question.
One quick, for historical reference, how long has the Woodlynne Police Department been around?
I don't know the exact date, but I know what the 30s.
Roughly.
Yeah, it started like in 30s and also understand. So you got to go back in history and see, this is going back and forth for times.
I think the chief will comment on that.
Yeah, on the crime rate, just from some of the analysis we've been able to do, which it's been very difficult to sift through some of the records. Nowadays, you should be able to hit a button and pull everything up. There's there's a lot of hard copies we have to go through, there's a lot of different agencies we can communicate with, and this is no fault of the director or the staff. We just don't have adequate training and resources to properly catalog everything for us to have accurate numbers. So one of the things I've had some discussions with the administration about is, when we come in and start to make all those things more clear, we may see that number go up a bit. When we start cataloging true crime that's occurring, what types of crime. Right now, based on some of the CAD reports that we've received, I think the priority one that they have, which is the highest, is EMS calls, which is something we won't even track on our end. So that may change once we come in and we'll be able to provide updates.
I have a question. So, Mr. Ramos, you said the previous lawsuits against the department from a previous administration, was that under Mayor Chikwege, who is still the current mayor, or is?
No, I mean, like, again, that's something that I wasn't around for.
You meant it was the previous state public safety administrator, or?
Well, no, the last administration had a retired chief, a lieutenant, and a sergeant.
Which administration are you talking about? Do you mean the government administration, or do you mean the police?
Police department.
Okay, so what's the current ranking of the officers in the department now?
Because we're short on men, sergeant is the highest.
So sergeant is the highest. Do you have anyone qualified to test for lieutenant, or captain, or chief among anybody there?
Yeah.
When was the last time you would have had anybody qualified to test for any of those positions?
When the lieutenant left, Woodlynne,
Which lieutenant?
Robinson.
Robinson. Okay, so you know that there's a number of discipline reports against the officers in the department. Like your IA complaints on the website only go back to 2021, but the police reports from the state show that there was an officer terminated last year for theft. There was another officer a couple years ago who was terminated after he maced kids on the porch, kind of provoked an incident and then followed up about it. So I'm curious to see how have things been managed if this is the case going back as far as at least the past few years where you've got open cases of complaints against officers within the department, some of them brought from within the department, some of them brought from citizens in the community. And this is from your own reporting, which is also 3 years old.
So I think we're not going to comment on any internal affair investigations or any discipline actions. That would be unfair and probably illegal.
Some of them are closed though, Mr. Kelly.
We'll let them speak for themselves.
But who else can I ask? Because the mayor isn't here.
Yeah, I would say the prosecutor's office.
Prosecutor's office, okay. Are you concerned that the mayor isn't here for this?
Am I concerned? No.
Okay, he spends most of his time in DC during the week, correct?
I'm not sure what the mayor's daily activities are.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that's where he works. I guess the other question I have is, you said, Chief Rodriguez, that part of the problem was the highest priority is EMS calls. Do you have any idea how many of them are responded to by the fire department in Woodlynne, and how many are responded to by the police department in Woodlynne?
I believe the police department responds to all of those EMS calls along with Cooper EMS, is what I've been told and what I've been able to gather. I don't know about what the fire department responds to, but these are still all numbers that I'm sifting through.
Sure.
Again, all the reports I'm receiving, they all look different, so I'm trying to sift through as best as possible, but when we come in on day one, I can answer every single one of your questions, because I'll have the information based on how we do things.
Do you happen to know whether the borough has anyone qualified to drive a fire truck at this point to respond to any of those calls? I know it's not your bailiwick. I'm just gonna tell you the answer is no. So, I'm bringing up the point that public safety is.
We're not, we can't answer questions.
I know that, I'm just saying public safety involves responding to EMS calls, which you said are the highest priority and the most volume, if you don't have a fire department capable of doing that in this town.
We'll go back.
Okay.
Chief, Commissioner, you guys have detailed the deficiencies of this department, from that independent evaluation of the use of police, and detailed the deficiencies of this department. With all of that coming to light, do you think some of the smaller departments in Camden County also need to have an independent evaluation to see if they too have deficiencies?
I don't. I think, I'm not sure of the process, Chief, you can probably expand upon it, but I believe departments are regularly reviewed by the prosecutor's office and the attorney general's office. So if there's an issue, we go with our attention. We've not heard of any issues in any other municipalities.
As far as infrastructure, assets, resources, is there anything that can be retained from the previous department, or if you kind of blow everything up, start from scratch?
I think we're going to blow everything other than that, there's not much here. There's just not much here to use.
Do residents need to be concerned about response time during this transition time? If they're coming from Camden, if they're concerned that officers might not get this.
Oh, so we've not heard from residents yet, we're just announcing this, quite frankly, and we're going to meet with the residents, but I think we're making it clear, we're going to have police in this neighborhood. So come September 1st, we will be patrolling Woodlynne. Now, that doesn't mean we are the sole police agency at that time, because we actually have to go through a legal process, dissolving the police department and entering into a contract, but our presence will begin to be felt on September 1st.
Sort of getting into the granular details about the consolidation, what can Woodlynne taxpayers expect to happen to the taxes they've already put towards the municipal policing budget? Will that budget be consolidated with the county policing budget?
We have not yet determined what the contribution will be from Woodlynne, but if the taxpayers that are paying taxes due tomorrow or the next day, at some point, some of those funds will be going to Camden County to provide policing.
And you talked a little bit about the police officers currently in the department. What can the officers and staffers currently in the department expect to happen to their jobs? Is there a possibility that anyone in the department will be losing their position?
There's only 3 members of the department. They've all applied to be Metro officers. So at some point, those 3 officers, if it's not for us, at some point they're working for another agency. Other than that, I don't think there are any other employees under police, are there?
No.
That's it.
Just last question, guys. So,
We would welcome the opportunity to work with other municipalities, but as you know, in New Jersey, it's a local decision. So we have, I happen to believe on a completely different note, that in New Jersey we have far too many governments, far too many municipalities, far too many school districts, and that helps to contribute towards the high taxes, property taxes that we pay here in New Jersey. So I'm hoping that this is a trend, but I'm not optimistic, to be quite frank. Thank you so much, appreciate it.